Why does every dungeon group need a healer? Well, it's because they're the life of the party. What's going on, YouTube? With our current events whittling down with only 14 hours left to get your Golden Pursuit done, we have to talk about the next ESO event because it is a massive one. And I am pretty averse to farming dungeons, and I will tell you that this is one of the most valuable ESO events, if not the most valuable ESO event in the game. It is, of course, the Undaunted Celebration event. The Undaunted Celebration event is going to be returning to us in September. We don't know exactly what time, but I would suspect probably around the second week. And as you can see, it's global passives of double Undaunted keys from all pledges, which is a massive bonus for the 2 weeks that it's going to be available, because that's going to mean that you're going to be able to do easy dungeons and get tons of Undaunted keys. And you're also going to be able to get bonus curated set piece items from dungeons you acquired Undaunted reward boxes from. So that sounds like a whole bunch of hoopla. What does that actually mean? It means that if you were to farm Fungal Grotto 1, you would actually then get a second set piece from Fungal Grotto 1, meaning that you can fill out your sticker book a little bit easier. It is uncurated, but it still is going to make that process a little bit faster for you. So with that information in mind, what do you need to do during the Undaunted Celebration event? How do you celebrate it? Well, obviously, as we go through, we're going to have the how to get started. It's the same with pretty much every ESO event. All of the passives are passive. You don't have to drink anything anymore. You don't have to really do anything. All the bonuses you just get, like a little cat jumping up on you while you're mid-sentence and recording. You just get those bonuses. You don't got to drink nothing. You don't got to do nothing. You can literally just jump on into that bad man pajama. There is a quest that you can go do, but you certainly don't need to. And then you could literally use the Dungeon Finder tools and get crack-a-lackin', because getting the reward boxes from here is very straightforward. And that's also the same for your event tickets. All you need to do is literally just complete any group dungeon out there. So say, for example, they completed Oathsworn's Pits in this example. They got their 2 event tickets. That's per account per day, so you don't have to worry about getting multiple event tickets per day. Literally, as the final boss is dying and you loot their body, the event tickets are on there. Then you also are going to be getting curated reward boxes. So they got their gold reward box because this was the first one that they did. And they're getting a glorious Undaunted reward box, but it's Oathsworn's Pit. So this is how you know which, curated piece you're going to get, because this one's going to have set pieces as an extra one, for you to get from Oathsworn's Pits, meaning that you can fill out your sticker book a little bit faster as you go through these dungeons. These will be uncurated, but it will still make the process significantly faster, because as you bind them to your sticker book, you're still getting a curated drop from the bosses in there. And also, the reason you want to do your at least 1 dungeon per day if you don't want the event tickets is that the glorious reward boxes are always going to have better rewards than just the purple Undaunted reward boxes, because you are guaranteed to be getting one of the Opal style pages. Now, the Opal style pages used to be the bee's knees when it came to value. I remember buying and trying to get the good value out of the Opal Engine Guardian staff. I thought it was just so beautiful. It was worth 1.5 million gold on console. It was ridiculous. So these Opal weapon style pages, when they're new, definitely have some value to them. When they're a bit older, if they sometimes drop to the thousands, maybe tens of thousands of gold, depending on what it is, but it is definitely good and worth doing. Obviously, they talk about the bonus curated item. This is absolutely massive, and there will be a separate dedicated video on the dungeons that you should farm for this event. Obviously, we'll hit a couple key highlights at the end of this video, but there's so many different avenues and sets and things that you may want to farm, because too, this is also a great time to go pick up monster masks. Now, obviously, this is not dedicated to the Undaunted Celebration event, but if everybody's farming, dungeons like Scale Caller Peak, and you just want to get the monster mask from there, what's the difference between, you getting a curated set drop versus you getting a monster mask that you always wanted? And that's where I think this is a great event. Same with like PvP events. If you are somebody who loves PvP, it's the perfect opportunity to go in. You might not need alliance points, but you probably want the experience of going and PvPing, maybe getting some other rewards. Same for the Undaunted Celebration event. Everybody and their mom's going to be doing dungeons. It's the time. The next possible things that you guys may earn is Undaunted themed furnishing. Now, these themed furnishings are kind of a newer thing that hasn't always been available to be gained. And I will tell you, these actually do have a decent amount of resale value just because they're newer, people love furnishing items, and there's a limited supply of them based on how many people farm dungeons. The market is going to have quite a few of these bad boys just for the simple fact that People are going to be sitting inside a fungal grotto all day. Spoiler, that's the best farm. Farming fungal grotto with the boys. And you're going to be seeing a lot of these on the market, but they still do have great value for the simple fact that they're only able to be gained at a very limited time part of the year. And people love furniture. People love exclusive items, and this is a great event to do so. If you want to see any of these, I'll put this article in the description below. But you can actually hover over and see how all these items look with a little bit of a preview for them. So cool items nonetheless. Then obviously we have our motif pages that drop from dungeons. Obviously, there's a lot of these that are worth money. Please download an add-on if you have the ability to do so. Then you can just hover over the item and it'll be like, hey, John Smith, this is worth 10,000 gold. And you don't have to Google all of them, because back in my day, where you get tons of motif pages from this event, the Jubilee event, we had to price check all of them. And it was horrible. Please use a price checker app. You will thank me later if you have the ability to do add-ons. If you don't, we have price checkers linked in our description below that you guys can always utilize. But I feel terrible if you don't have the ability to use those, because some of these are worth a lot of money. Some of them are worth nominal amounts of money. Then obviously you have Undaunted keys, which is just a great currency to get your monster style shoulders. Sally sold she shells down by the seashore. We have Undaunted plunder, which you just sell to gold. You just give it to a vendor, they give you some gold. It's one of the greatest exchanges ever. Repair kits. If your friend David's constantly dying, you can, fix his gear for him. Transmute crystals, I love transmute crystals. And riding lessons, which is always really cool to see. That makes this a little bit better as well too, because if you're a new player, getting riding lessons is a really good bonus. And I'll tell you too, this might seem undaunting as a new player. Literally, that's the Undaunted event. Or daunting, but it's undaunted. It's very easy. Farming Fungal Grotto 1, you could do blindfolded with a Guitar Hero guitar. It's that straightforward. And you're going to be finding people that are constantly queuing into it. And again, you don't have to farm it on veteran or anything. So you just keep farming that dungeon on repeat. It's going to take you about 2 to 3 minutes as you're getting into the rhythm of it. Find some players that are doing it. You could be getting a nice juicy reward box every 2 to 3 minutes, assuming that you don't want to go out and get bonus curated items, which we will talk about at the end. And then we have a beautiful breakdown here of the double Undaunted keys, because this is a very important concept to know. Because there are 3 pledge givers. We have Madge, Gilleron, and Urgalac. Now, on normal modes, they're going to give you 2 Undaunted keys unless you're in Urgalac's. Now, I'm going to tell you that she says DLC next to her. That's because her dungeons suck. Notoriously, they are significantly more difficult. And in fact, if you do Veteran, you're already getting 6 Undaunted keys. And if you do Veteran hard mode of her, you get 8. Versus if you do Madge, you get 4. And then if you do Gilleron, you get 4, which is actually a pretty decent value for some of the dungeons. It'll be like, go into City of Ash 1. And you're like, yes, sir. Let me head on down to City of Ash 1. I could farm that bad boy pretty easily. Now, that is going to have to be done on Veteran, because those are going to be tied to your Undaunted pledges. Now, Veteran, obviously, if you want to do the hard mode clear keys, but you could still farm it on normal, because 2 Undaunted keys is definitely better than a slap in the face. And especially if you're doing the DLC ones in addition, a lot of those, especially if you got friends like my boy Brandon and David, maybe you don't do the hard modes. Maybe you value your sanity before you go to work that day, and you're just like, you know what? 4 Undaunted keys or 6 Undaunted keys is enough for me. I don't want to be selfish, Because also, let's not forget, you can use multiple characters for this. So let's say it's Fungal Grotto 1, which is a good chance it will be one of the ones for one of the days. Let's say Tuesday of the event is Fungal Grotto 1. Well, that's 4 hard mode keys that you could be getting, and you could do that on multiple characters. You can go around and do it on as many characters as you own. So if you want to try to cheese it as a newer player who doesn't want to farm dungeons, or if you're just like me and you value your sanity, pick the ones that are easier to do and pick dungeons that aren't as long, and then you can focus on those when you want to do it. So what I generally do is I check to see which is the Undaunted pledge that day, determine, do I want to go do this on all my characters, or do I value my sanity? And if you've never been to an Undaunted Enclave before, they're in the major capitals that like Wayrest, Eldenroot, Mournhold, etc. I usually come to the one that's over here inside of Stormhaven, because I am blue through and through. And you talk to them and they're like, hey, where do you want me to go today? And it's like Crypt of Hearts. And you're like, all right, I guess I can do that. So Crypt of Hearts 2 would definitely be one of the ones that you could clear on Veteran hard mode relatively easily. Same with Madge over here. She has relatively nice and easy pledges. Then you talk to this little rascal over here, and she's like, do you want to go farm Scale Caller Peak on Veteran hard mode? And you're like, whoa, 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 hey, whoa, I don't know if I want to go do that with a bunch of people that I just met. You know, it's probably a little bit out of the purview for what I want to go see done. Next up, we need to talk about opal weapons and style pages, because this is pretty important to note. So obviously, if you do your gold daily reward box, so the first one every day is going to be golden. That's a guaranteed opal weapon outfit style page. That's a pretty good one because it's probably worth at least a couple thousand gold at minimum and more at maximum. And you could just do that by getting your daily, glorious reward coffer. Now, the subsequent purple one, so you're going to get 1 gold, and then every dungeon you farm after that is going to be purple. You're still getting your sticker book gear. You don't not get that in the subsequent ones, but it is rarer to get your opal pages. So keep that in mind, because obviously it's guaranteed, and then it's not guaranteed, so it's a little more rare. But then we have to talk about, obviously, what do you need to do to get the opal style pages for the mask. This is a bit different, and it's straightforward. You have to do it on a specific type of content. So if you're hunting the opal monster mask style pages, you'll have a chance to draw from the following dungeon final bosses when completed on veteran hard mode. So you have to do it on veteran hard mode, that being from Wayrest Sewers, Bloodroot Forge, Spindle Clutch 2, Crypt of Hearts, Darkshade Caverns 2, Blessed Crucible, or Elden Hollow 1. Now, I will warn you that these are not necessarily valuable in 2025. Just being realistic, it's actually a better use for your time to just farm Fungal Grotto 1 and just forget that these even really are an option if you were like, oh, let's go farm Wayrest Sewers 2. Not worth it. Now, maybe if you were trying to fill the sticker book for Wayrest Sewers 2, because you're like, oh, I really like the sets from there, because they got some banger magangers, then maybe you go do that. But it's really more just something that is kind of tacked on to the event. That's why we weren't super excited to talk about it at the beginning. But you can get the normal Monster Mask outfit style pages also during this. This is a bit different. So you have a chance to get the normal if you've already completed the hard mode of that dungeon. So this is a little bit weird because you can actually get these as long as you have the achievement for the hard mode clear, which you only have to do obviously one time. That's how achievements work. You don't have to recycle that. And those are Wayrest Sewers 2, Spindle Clutch 2, Elden Hollow 1, Bloodroot Forge, Darkshade Caverns 2, Dire Frost Keep, Crypt of Hearts 1, Imperial City Prison, Elden Hollow 2, Darkshade Caverns 1, Spindle Clutch 1, Blessed Crucible, and Cradle of Shadows all have the option for you to get those bad boys. But you also can use this as an opportunity to get your Undaunted keys. Now, you could spend your Undaunted keys to also get the shoulders. Now, how this is going to work, let's say I'm talking to Urgalak. So at the tippy top here, there's going to be a bunch of shoulders, depending on whichever one of these 3 I'm talking to. As you can see, it's actually different. They all have different options. So how it'll work is I can buy the actual shoulder outright for 50 Undaunted keys, for example, or I can use the mystery coffer to roll for a random one. I would always encourage you to roll for the random one because you're getting sets, and these are all DLC good monster sets and are significantly more valuable than the ones that these 2 goobers over here have. So talk to Urgalak, who I've probably butchered the name of 15 times in this video, and utilize this as an opportunity to roll your 1 Undaunted key. You're going to be getting a random, powerful monster set, and you're going to be rolling for some items that are at least worth, probably at least a couple 100,000 gold. You're not going to be getting rich off of this, if I'm being honest, but it is definitely one that's still worth doing. And this is a great time period, too, if you got some event tickets saved up. Get yourself a big old dwarven spider mount. You also can use this as an opportunity to get a bunch of random things. Now, this is going to really be, I would say, your best time to get the spider mount, but you could also use this as an opportunity to get some of the new ones, the new opal style pages for 5 event tickets. I think by the end of the event, they're really not going to be worth that much, so it's probably just better to just use your event tickets to get the dwarven spider mount, combining the fragments together to do so. We also will have some additional items. We have our Indrake vendor, etc., etc. But that is the overview of this event. So what exactly are the best things to do during this event? Well, like any ESO event, you kind of have to tackle it based on what's important to you. For me, it's Undaunted keys. I am almost always out of Undaunted keys. I'm making all sorts of obtuse builds to test out, and I'm rolling to get shoulders that I ever seem to need to get. So for me, I like to focus on doing easy pledges that I can repeat across multiple characters, some of which are wearing, Teflon armor out there, and then getting Undaunted keys. I also like to farm reward boxes because I'm a goblin from gold. I like gold. I use it to maintain my guild traders, And I think overall, it's my focus. But there's a lot of people out there who are like, Jake, I need 2 additional things. I want to get rare monster sets, which is a great time to do so. Even though, again, there's really no benefit to doing a hard dungeon, but people are going to be doing them. It's the same reason why people become Emperor during Mid-Year Mayhem. It's just because there's more people PvPing. It's easier to spend time to go in there because you know there's going to be more people in there doing stuff and things. It's going to be easier to take keeps, easier for things to take, and pass around, get some kills and stuff. It's going to be the same with this. There's going to be more people farming more difficult dungeons, and it's also a good time period to fill out your sticker book. Now, I'm going to give you some quick suggestions to fill out your sticker book, but again, this is going to be something that is going to have its own dedicated video because there's so many different reasons why you might want PvP dungeon sets, PvE dungeon sets that are solo, ones that are for support characters, ones that are monster mass. So just going to give you a quick list, and then we're going to wrap up the video, but there will be additional breakdowns as well. Also focus too on some of the better gold farms during this event, but if you have additional video suggestion ideas, put them in the comments below. Let's talk about some quick sets though. Wayrest Sewers is already going to be farmed for its style page, but you can also farm it to get Sergeant's Mail. It is the solo heavy attack set in the game. John solo set. We have Rune Carver from Scrivener's Hall if you're interested in making a dot build. We have Lepsiclusa's Noxious Boulder, which is another one you can use for a heavy attack, fun nonsense. Pillar of Nur, which is a little bit older, but from Falkreath Hold still has pretty good DPS output when it comes to PvE content. We also have Rush of Agony, if you're into that for PvP. It's from the Dread Cellar. It basically does a whole bunch of hoopla that pulls everybody and is not very popular. Update 47 made it a little bit more bearable, but it is one of the most used PvP sets in the game. Then there's Tarnished Nightmare from Bedlam Vale. If you've ever been in Cyrodiil and you're like, why do I hear glass breaking? Am I causing myself to have bad luck? No, that's your enemies causing you to have bad luck. And by using this set, this applies the Sundered, deals some damage. It is exceptionally annoying and gives you tons of crit chance. So it's a great set if you're using it. Not always as fun if it's being used against you, especially if you have your sound volume very high. Next up from White Gold Tower is Spell Power Cure. It's just one of the best support sets in the game. It gives you, whenever you overheal yourself or an ally, you give that target Major Courage for 5 seconds, which increases their weapon and spell damage by 430. Obviously, this is a support set. In today's day and age, especially for PvP, everybody and their mom has Major Courage, unfortunately, but for PvE, it is still an amazing support set. And if you're a PvPer and you want to use this as an opportunity, I would get Battle Orcs. There's going to be people out there farming March Sacrifices. Use this as an opportunity to get the monster set. It is the generic John Smith PvP monster set. Go out and get this bad boy. But overall, those are my kind of just random recommendations for things that I would suggest. I will do a dedicated video specifically on the sticker book, and it will also include more monster sets, even though it's not necessarily tied to the event, but it is still definitely an extra bonus because everybody's going to be going out there and farming dungeons. So you can use that as an opportunity to get a pretty good assortment of monster sets. So thank you guys so much again for watching. As always, we're doing our quick 3 giveaway drawings. All you need to do to enter is leave a comment, comments below /like on the video. This is a pretty big event. If you want more breakdowns, we're probably going to again do a gold one and a set farming one. But if you feel like there's more that you need, maybe you want some more fragments. We've seen Helldivers 2's fully installed, so we got crazy amounts of stuff to go do here soon. Make sure you're subscribed. You're less than 50 subs away from 33,000 subscribers, so please hit the subscribe button. And the third thing is look for hidden word be flashed upon the screen. If you're the first person to find and comment that word, you will win. Have a fantastic Wednesday, everybody. Enjoy spreading democracy, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jakeclips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.